markets, or you need to show up because we usually have a whole different set of stuff for markets, and then we have a different set of stuff online, and then we have a different set of stuff at the store. And I've kind of done that over time because I've realized the demographic in each area, and then also what sells in each area and what makes sense. So the furniture wouldn't go online just because it wouldn't make sense to ship it for me.
Right.
So it's all usually small stuff online and easy to ship items, stuff like that. And furniture is mostly at the storefront and then at the big markets.
Very cool. Pardon Rain.
Yeah.
If you could see Rain, the big cat just likes to say hi. I usually try and put him up, but he was MIA when we came down. All right. Awesome. Well, so happy to have you back on the podcast. Have you been seeing the contest we have going on?
No.
The Partner in Crime?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, the movie.
So 2 Girls and a Bottle of Wine has partnered with the Hot Pursuit movie, which is coming out next month.
It looks funny.
Yes.
And
I love Reese.
Where has she been? Is she usually out and about? I haven't seen her in a while.
Reese Witherspoon?
Yes.
She just did a movie based on the true story, the walking movie where she walked. Oh. Crap, I'm horrible with names. Yes.
Does she have a lot of makeup?
Cheryl Strain.
A lot of...
Where she hiked from Mexico to Canada.
Maybe that's not what
Wild.
I was thinking.
Wild.
It's been
Wild is what it's called.
Oh, Wild is what it's called. Okay.
Yes.
So I just haven't heard from her since I was like a teenager, and then I saw her and I was like, oh.
That's why Hollywood Happenings is not your forte.
Exactly.
Because she's been pretty active.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, she's got some stuff.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Well,
I fell in love with her, Sweet Home Alabama. That was the first movie that I was like, who is this girl? Election creeped me out. Remember that movie when she was like running for student body president or something, and Matthew Broderick was in it, and she was creepy. Anyway, I love Reese Witherspoon. But she's starring with Sofia Vergara from Modern Family, and the trailers, there's so many different trailers out there. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. But we have partnered with them for Cinco de Movie Night. So next Tuesday, because next Tuesday is May 5th, which is crazy, we have an opportunity for 3 of our listeners and a friend to get to see the movie before it hits theaters on the 8th. So you get to see it before anybody else even has a chance to. All you have to do is send us your picture of you and your partner in crime. It could be your spouse. It could be your coworker. It could be your podcast mate. Whoever. And you can send it to 2girlsandabottle@gmail.com or tag us on Instagram or Twitter, which is @2girlsandwine. #2girlspick.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'm super excited, and we've received several pictures, and now I have to pick
the best.
I'm going to cut it off maybe Friday of this week. I just decided that right now.
Deadline.
Yes.
Get your pictures in, people.
Right now. And yeah, we'll send you to a free movie. And the cool thing is you also have a chance to download free movie passes if you don't win.
Oh, perfect.
And I've been posting and tweeting that link, and that is first come, first serve. But if you win our contest, you are definitely guaranteed a seat.
Wonderful.
Because those movie screenings, they love to pack the house.
Yes. They do.
So, what's been going on with you lately? We've been talking about Law Lovely Vintage and Tara the Businesswoman, but what's going on with you in your life?
It's been great, to tell you. It's been great. I haven't had much of a life outside of Law Lovely Vintage for the past year. I would say it's been consuming me. Mm-hmm. And so just the beginning of this year, I guess I made a conscious effort to put business aside.
We talked about that, yes.
And focus on me. And so it's been going amazingly well. And I think that there was a time in my life when I was younger where I really knew who I was. Mm-hmm. You know, I understood myself. And then I thought that would just always kind of be there. And then as we change and grow, it doesn't. And so
I hear you.
And so I was, I went through a stage where I was consumed in business and not asking myself what I wanted or what I needed or anything like that. And just really pushing myself for my goals. And so I've kind of taken a step back and said, hey, this is really important and you can still work very hard, but you can also take a step back and say, you need a break and you need to breathe. So just doing that has been, it's been great. I've really learned who I am again as a person because I lost that, I think.
Oh.
I think that...
Well, I'm glid you found yourself again.
Yeah, I think that I think it's a never-changing thing that everybody goes through. I think put myself in the position now where I have to ask myself hard questions and I have to be vulnerable, and I'm doing these things, and it's really opening up like who I truly am.
So what kind of hard questions are you asking yourself? You don't have to give us the answer, just the question.
Yeah. So, like, not what's wrong with me, but what is my personality? And what are my personality traits? And why do I act this way for certain reasons? And why do I do this? And, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, is because everybody, I think a lot of people, everybody is different. There are so many different kinds of personalities. And then I think that a lot of people maybe don't ask these questions, and just kind of go through life and don't really know who they are and don't know what they're doing. And that's kind of where I was at. I was doing things, but I wasn't conscious. I wasn't, so those are the questions I'm asking myself. Not just me, but I started, I'm in a book club.
Okay.
And so we're reading, a book by Richard Rohr. Have you ever heard of Richard Rohr?
He sounds familiar.
Okay. So, it's about finding your true self. So it's called The Immortal Diamond. And, it's a whole book about just finding like your soul, like who you are in this world, without anything else, like who you were, without the environment or your family or your culture or anything, just who you are, not with your opinions or your likes or your interests, but who you are.
How's that journey been?
Exactly. It's been amazing.
I'm a little intimidated.
So that's what this has been. That's what this last, since January, has been. It's been asking myself really hard questions and taking away everything that I thought made up me that doesn't make up me. And then also a cooking club that also is the same way. We're asking ourselves really tough questions. And
these are all things we've talked about in text, because I'm like dodging your I have a book club, and I have church, and I have a cooking club, and I'm like, where can I fit?
So it's all things now that I would have never done because I was so easy at being like, that sounds great, but I have this, and I have to, so now I'm like, no, you have to take a step back and learn and live and have friends and be active. And so in turn, that's taught me who I am.
So I have been very consumed with work lately, and I've kind of found myself in a place where I'm like, where am I going? Who, kind of similar, like, what happened to me? Because I have friends that are like, you're not even active on Facebook anymore. Are you okay? Like, we should hang out. And I'm like, I just can't commit to hanging out because I have work. And it's so I think that's something I need to look into, the eternal diamond.
Immortal diamond.
Immortal diamond.
Yes. And Richard Rohr, he's just a really great author. So I would.
What else has he written?
So he does. Have you ever done an Enneagram? Mm-mm. So that is something that I just did today, which was like, so eye-opening. So if you don't know about Enneagrams, go to Google and type in Enneagram.
How do you spell it?
ENN.
Okay, there's an
E-gram.
Enneagram. Okay.
And so it's like a personality test. Oh. And so it's been around from like, it's like a Myers-Briggs, but more, it's been around, they say, for like since Solomon, for the beginning of, since forever.
Adam and Eve, no. But Solomon, yes.
So
That's
they say it's been around, for a very long time. And it is basic questions, very easy. You can take a 10-minute test online, a 10-question test online. And it kind of gives you a number, and then that number tells you what kind of personality you're in. And it's a very vague way to start. But then Richard Rohr, he writes a book on Enneagrams, which I'm jumping into now. And that kind of completely tells you the traits of each personality and why you built up this way. And so I would say trying the Enneagram, going on Google and starting there, and then saying like, you just have to be very honest with yourself and saying, I don't know. Just you have to be very honest with yourself and answer the questions honestly, and then just so that you know what kind of person that you are, so that you can then kind of understand what your needs are, and then how you can achieve, and then how you're not achieving, how you're hurting yourself in the long run, stuff like that. So,
and has your husband participated in this?
No, he hasn't.
Does he want to, or is he scared?
So I think that subconsciously, I kind of was forcing him to make this change with me on a level I didn't realize at the beginning of the year, which caused a lot of tension in our marriage. So because I was kind of like, vulnerable and ready to die face first.
And you're like, you're my teammate. Let's go.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm ready to find myself out. I'm like, here I go. And he was kind of like, whoa, I don't even know if I have a problem. What do you mean? I don't know if I'm going to look inside myself or if I'm ready for that. And so I think I might have pushed him, and it kind of made some tension and some boundaries. And then I really learned about who I was in different situations. And so I think he is on his own level. But yes, I'm definitely not.
And that's a female versus
now
male
I'm consciously trying not to like put it on him to say, hey, because it's something that you have to be ready for.
Right.
To learn about yourself and to know who you are and to try to figure out why you're here and what the meaning is. It's not something that you can just push on somebody and expect them to like jump along. And that's what I kind of did. And I did that. And it didn't work. And we had some really hard times where we almost went through a divorce because of this last year for that.
Wow.
But it taught me who I was and why I did that. And, and so.
And you're better now?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're a lot better now.
Good.
And better now than we were. So, yeah,
Awesome.
It definitely happened for a reason.
Every day's a new day.
Yeah.
And I hear marriage is just very constant work.
Absolutely.
But it's worth it.
Yes. And if you're willing to put in the work, it's worth it. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
Wow, we didn't know if we'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, I think that I think everybody should, once they're ready, discover themselves.
It is scary because, as you've gotten older, you're kind of, this is me, going, okay, this is where I come from. This is why I am this way because this is where I came from. And this is, learning that, but to actually dig to the very bottom of everything is kind of scary.
The light with, of who yes, because you know that you are a thing, you are a being shake-up without everything else around you, without anything. And I firmly believe that we're not shaped completely by our surroundings and by our parents. I think that definitely makes up a ginormous part, a gigantic part of it, but it's not all of it. There is an internal being inside of us that we have to understand. It's not made up by the outside superficial likes and wants. There is something.
I'm excited.
Yeah, jump. And I'm like definitely here for you. So if you're like, hey, I got questions, I would love to help. Yeah. Well, that's what I learned is I'm the helper. So
you are the helper.
That's in the Enneagram. That I'm the number 2 is what I got, which is it's a good and a bad thing.
Everything's balanced.
Yes. I think it's the positive thing about me, but it's also the worst thing about me. So.
Well, we think
come
you're
to find
fabulous.
out. Hey, thanks.
I keep saying I'm going to have a get-together so all the girls can meet each other.
Yes, I would love that.
Because you guys hear each other.
All voices. I've seen some pics, though, actually.
Yes.
I'm like, I didn't know that's what she looked like.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I hear that. Oh, voices are... Like Steve, he was in radio for 12 years, and people would see his picture and be like, that's not what I pictured at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your husband
he does have
is in radio.
Yeah, he is.
And do people pass that to him like, oh, you're not what I pictured at all?
I don't know if he gets that. I should ask him to see if he does.
Yes.
He has such a deep voice. But he's a very, he's a very manly man. So maybe it works because it's very deep and raspy.
So this last Sunday, I did something out of my comfort zone. I did a Skype interview with a co-host. She's in Eastern Kentucky, and we'll talk about her in a minute. But her and her husband have a podcast. And they don't have pictures anywhere. Like, I scoured the internet.
Oh, and you had no idea.
I don't know what she looks like.
No Facebook or anything?
No, they have their podcast Facebook, but no
pictures.
They've done that on purpose.
Yeah, well.
And I'm like I have this picture in my head of what they look like, but I'm like, maybe you shouldn't send me a picture because I'll be like, that's not what a picture is at all.
That totally happens.
So speaking of, because we're going to talk about her in a second, but who is your woman crush of the week?
I didn't come prepared for that. I would say, right now. Oh, jeez, I have so many.
That's awesome.
It's just I just have a lot of women in my life right now.
I sat down and I was like, okay, because we didn't prepare much for this podcast, and I think that's cool because we're just winging, and I'm like, who's my woman crush? And a real person came to mind, not a Hollywood starlet. So I'll tell mine while you think of yours.
Okay, yes, you go.
So mine is Petra. She is the girl that I did the podcast with on Sunday.
Yes.
Her and her husband Hank do Hillbilly Nerd Talk.
Yeah, and I've heard them, and they are